the stride, giving girls heart attacks, strike you with a hammer, then bring sick.
Hello, welcome everyone back. We are doing the final match of the Stellar Division Week 1 coming up here, and we're going to get started up here. First, I'm the host, I'm the AMO, and we're going to be getting this thing kicked off, and of course, Dexter can't hear me, but he can now. So, Dexter, hello, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
First, tell us, who you are real quick.
So we are the Cotton-Headed Ninny Muggins, and two of our players have been playing. This is their third season, and then our other three, this is their first season. So we got two vets and three pretty talented guys. We're real excited about this season.
Mm-hmm. And you said you got a couple of vets and a couple of new people. How has the meshing been doing for the first week?
Well, me and Lost Manifesto, I'm the jungler and Lost is the top laner. We kind of had some synergy from starting in 2 seasons ago, and we kind of carried it. Last season was pretty rough for us, but we still had, some semblance of synergy. And so kind of our team, we work together really well. Our support and our AD carry has gotten along, really meshed well. We're playing games, basically every day. Our mid laner is highly mechanical, and he fits right into our whole team synergy. And so I think kind of me and Lost's bond just kind of promotes the rest of our team to success. And we keep real positive attitudes, even in flex games, and even when we're losing, we still try to fight back and just make the next play, or find the next objective that we can fight at, or take, or whatever. So we're doing real good. Team's happy. We're all excited about this season.
Yeah, so but don't give any spoilers away for the match coming up. But how do you feel you guys have started off? Have you gelled with the new people pretty well? Or has there been sometimes people's playstyles just don't match?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're gelling. Definitely, as a jungler, I'm always the most aggressive player on the map. I mean, that's just my play style. And so, one of the things that I like for my teammates to be able to do is kind of follow up on a pick or something like that. If I'm making it. Now, a lot of times I know I put myself in really bad situations and look really dumb, but no, definitely I like to play with people who are willing to go in and so as far as this season goes, I feel like we started off pretty strong, and I think everyone's everyone's confident about what champs they're playing and what our team is trying to do on the map, and so we're excited, like I said.
In this particular match, someone on the other team name in particular should ring a bell to all the Vantage members. It's Vantage Edgeman. Do you know who Vantage Edgeman is?
I played against him, I think, last season. I knew going into it he loved to play Trendamere, but other than that, I don't know.
It is Philip. If you ever see Philip
really?
In the Slack, that is Vantage Edgeman. He does love his Trendamere.
I did not know that. And
so that's one of the things we'll probably see a little bit is that some of the other players on the Pentatilters, which is the team you played this week, was MTG Boomkin, and then Canthor, Thad the Destroyer, and Ward Carrier. So those are the team over there. But you do other stuff too, right? As I thought. Other than just straight playing Vantage League, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be involved with the Vantage community in whatever way that I can, and trying to, just see the community grow and see success, because I know a lot of the guys who play Vantage, and I've become close friends with a lot of guys. Me and Lost Manifesto, his name's Kyle. I mean, we've become great friends. Been playing together, almost 8 months now or so. And so I know that the community is a really good one, and I'm here to help out in any way I can. And actually, Ammo, I just got back from they're doing a 1v1 tournament. I think Mans D Ferg is hosting a 1v1 tournament.
Yes,
so
he is.
A lot of the Vantage players are playing. I actually just won my second match, so I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, I mean, I know Vantage is on the rise. I remember joining, and the Slack community only had around 150 or so people, and I think we're at almost 300 now. So definitely excited about Vantage, excited about what Vantage is doing, and what the upcoming things Chase has talked about with what Vantage is going to start doing for this community and for us players.
Yep, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. Is some of the stuff that Vantage is doing via their Vantage Elite tool in here, and how we're going to look at replays and that type of stuff. So, do you want to say anything else before we jump into the matches?
Oh, it looks like in chat this is Alienator's second season. I played in the same division, the one above us, but yeah, I mean, other than that, just everyone just stay active and support Vantage in the way that you're just active in chat and active with other players and trying to find games. Like the biggest thing, Vantage Q has made so many Friday and Saturday nights for me, just having like one night having nothing to do, getting in Vantage Q and like finding like 4 other people like that, And so I think the best way to support Vantage is just to like be here, just show up and watch the stream and talk to other people about how great Vantage is, because I mean we all know that it really is. It's been a ton of fun. So I mean, other than that, we're excited about this season. We're excited about Vantage, and can't wait till our next game in a couple days.
Yep. Thank you, Dexter, and good luck with the rest of the season and everything in your upcomings. Not only in the individual 1v1 tournament, but the team aspects as well.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for all that you do too.
No problem. You have a good one. So,
yeah.
We're going to get started here pretty much for tonight's match. Minor maybe joining us here in a little bit, hopefully, maybe not. Depends on what his personal schedule is. So getting to replays, we wanted to make sure we could get them done, especially when doing cast games when they're not being casted live. And one of the things that Vantage Elite allows is not only your player rating and all of that is, as I just throw mine, this is my player, my Vantage Esports. You can look at my stats and yada, yada, yada. If you go to the replay and learning tabs, you can search replays. So there's the curriculum with all the old lessons and VODs on there that are really informative. If anyone wants to go to those, definitely check those out, especially if you're learning or you want to learn something with specific. A lot of great information there. But if you go specifically to the replay system, and you do search, you can put in the champion. So I know the first match tonight in game 1 is the Tryndamere, right? Because this is a replay, we know where we're looking here. And I know he goes up against Renekton, so, and we know that that's not what leagues. You check what leagues they're in, and this is how you can check out your own replays, especially if they've gotten out of your top 20. Use the Vantage Elite. Now, this isn't beta. This doesn't work 100% of the time, but you just pull it up, and it should search through here, and pull them all up. Once you get all the games pulled up, you just click the games here. You have your bronze and silver games here, but if I click on, I had it marked down which game number it is. Game number 414. Nope, there it is. That one. This is the game. And you just click download, and then you click keep. So not only am I going to show you the game and replays tonight, and we'll go run through them, but we're also walking through Vantage here because I don't know if people knew about the replay here. And you just let it run anyway on your PC, and it's just like the old replay system. And it should just pull up here in just a moment. And should pull through. I hear the noises. Dexter, are you still there, bud? As we jump on into the game, as I'm flipping through all the pages here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, real quick, the pick bands for game one, I didn't get them in the specific order, but these were basically the pick bands is the cotton-headed Ninny Muggins. They banned Viger, Ari, and Vi, while the Pentatilters banned Anivia, Evelyn, and Echo. And the cotton-headed Ninny Mugger. Oh, geez, that's a mouthful. They went with Renekton, Rengar, Vladimir, Ezreal, and Lulu. Where Pentatilters are on Tryndamere, Amumu, Ziggs, Lucian, and Zyra. And I'm going to probably mess up Amumu and Lulu probably about 15 times tonight. So if any of you just want to start the BMing now, you can. But we should jump into the game here. Dexter, do you have your game file, or did you understand how to pull it up?
I have the game file somewhere. How far behind is the stream?
We haven't started.
Okay.
It is 30 seconds into the match. So, while you get your game file up and running, just commentating on the kind of the team comps built here, based off of the pick bands that both teams kind of are strong in. Both mid laners like playing Ziggs, and you'll see that Ziggs was taken away by the Pentatilters. Both supports like playing Zyra. Zyra's in both their top three. So Zyra also taken early by the Pentatilters, most likely to get that secure locked in for their side. Whereas Lost Manifesto on Renekton that he plays a lot of. Dexter's we'll see tonight on Rengar in game one here. The Vladimir's kind of an interesting pick. I think that might have been a pick that could have been flexed, if you speculate on how the pick band went. And then Lulu, Ezreal, both strong bottom laners at the moment, and Twisted is I think most proficient on the Ezreal based on his solo queue stuff. And once an advantage, Edgeman playing his classic Tryndameres. As game one goes, is probably relatively straightforward out of the box versus each team, going at certain strong champs of each player. Canthor's Veigar and Ari taken out of the game real quick. Boomkin's Vi taken out. Dexter does have some good games on Evelyn in the jungler, and that's a tricky champion to deal with. So Pentatilters didn't want to deal with that. Alienators is pretty good Anivia player, and you saw the ban there. And then the Echo was the last ban, I think it was an Echo ban, probably targeted once again at Alienator or Lost Manifesto. I didn't quite see any ranked games on Echo currently this season. Once again, I didn't do super in-depth research on both teams, as either team probably has done research on each other going back a couple seasons, because this is a league system and a lot of the players have been in the league for a couple of years or so and have gone up against each other. Put that back up there so they can see that. Wish that zoomed in better, but I guess
I'm looking for the file on Vantage.
Yep.
So how did you do that?
Oh yeah, to do the Vantage, you go to your Vantage Elite, and you click your replays. Once you signed in, replays and learning.
Correct.
And then in replays and learning, I searched by champions, and I think searching by top lane is the easiest, because we already know what the matchup is, because we've seen it, or we've looked it up. It's Tryndamere versus Renekton, and then if you select top lane and silver bronze is the two ranks selected, and then it is the match that ends in 414, and then you just download it and hit run. And you have to have your client open and running for this for it to work, otherwise it won't.
So 414.
414. And this is how, if anyone wants to do any research on any of their opponents, they can. I mean, this is all the information that's available to them. I didn't do anything special. I didn't have Vantage like email right or anything. I showed everyone directly on the screen how I got this information. You can just go to people's match histories to look up what their custom games were, and it will pop up pretty relatively. Also, the Vantage League site will is pretty decent at setting all of those things up as well. As this season we're going to be going more off of KDA instead of the VPR as one of the stats they track to compare everyone, because they were fiddling with the VPR currently, and I know it's really messed with my head because I got on there looking at my VPR and all of a sudden I was a mechanics level 10 player, but my decision making was already at 100, so that terrified me. Because apparently I was making the same decisions that a diamond player was making, but I had the mechanics of someone with like no arms and no legs.
Doesn't look like it's working on my computer.
You're running off a Mac or off a
Yeah, a Mac.
Oh, Mac. Mac. There's the instructions right above it. You copy and paste it into the terminal and you hit enter. When the little window would pop up for you to download.
That's what I'm trying. I don't think it's giving me like the full
view. Let's see if I can copy it to you.
Let's see.
If you copy paste that into, I don't have a Mac, into terminal. I don't know what that is. So
It's not letting me do that. It says it's not a directory or something. Let's see here. You can go ahead and start, and I'll
You'll jump in? Okay, well, we're going to kind of get started here. Then as Dexter's kind of fiddles with it and tries to get it to work on the Mac. Once again, I haven't used it on a Mac. I've done it just on my PC, so I haven't had any problems particularly on that end. Once again, this is just a setup. So we will flip into game here. Okay. And go. Looks like both teams as they come out onto the rift, just pretty much standard fan as they come across. Looking not particularly for anything. I think the key is for both these teams who's going to get their jungler to a good solid position to make a really good impact. We have the Pentatilters who, with the Amumu Zig Zyra combination, just the large AoE snare and then ult and the damage coming out. Lucian's pretty good in those team fights, while they have a split pusher in Tryndamere, so it's a 4v1 comp on their side versus the we're just going to call them Muggins because that's a long name to try and protect. You have a Renekton who can split a little bit, but Rengar likes to get picks. Ezreal's slippery, especially with that addition of Lulu, and Vladimir is likes the skirmishes. 5v5s can help as well, but it depends on how Vladimir plays it in particular. But it's a little bit more safety. There's not a lot of wave clear coming out on the side of the Muggins. Vladimir has to get relatively close for wave clear. Ezreal just has, his Qs and regular autos compared to Renekton has to slice in and dice. Rengar doesn't really add much range. Lulu can add some clear, but not very much with her Q. They took that damage reduction off of the Lulu Q, whereas the Pentatilters have a Ziggs for wave clear, have a Lucian, a little bit stronger than the Ezreal at the wave clear, and Zyra, which helps as well. it's pretty much a trade-off as with the top laners. So whichever, if Pentatilters can start getting really far ahead, they're going to be able to siege in really hard. And if they do fall behind, hopefully they can fall back on their wave clear to be able to sustain a little bit longer through game to get to that next level. As we see the Rengar does start on the Wraiths, went to Wraiths red, and Golems and Amumu went from blue to the Krug up to Wolves. I'm at 229, 30, 31, 32. That's in-game time for you, Dexter.
Cool. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Nothing in particular on starts that I see that are too crazy. Maybe the Vladimir with the Null Magic Mantle. Could have started a couple of different ways. Some maybe boots, try to dodge all the Zig skill shots. Could have been an interesting start as Zyra lays a lot of poke down on this Lulu pretty early. Amumu's going in for a jungle invade. Pretty risky, especially against the Rengar. But Rengar is standing on a bush, and just as he stood there, the ward died. So Amumu knows he's safe up here in the jungle. Really, smart play. Risky to start, but as soon as he saw the Rengar, it was pretty safe down there. And Renekton getting a little bit better of the Tryndamere up here in top lane, kind of pushing him in, but has used his potion. Vladimir just trying to clear out the minion wave here as he gets trading lots of damage with Ziggs. Flash coming out from Ziggs. No Ignite in the mid lane. Both of them have teleport. Interesting that he flashed. If that would have been an Ignite, definitely could have seen that as a reasonable attempt, but didn't want to risk any more of that damage. Have you caught up with me here, Dexter?
Yeah, I think I'm just a couple seconds behind you, but I think it'll be okay.
Okay, so we'll do this cast a little bit differently than maybe one of the other ones since you played it. What did you feel when after the Amumu had stolen your blue buff after you had stood on that ward down in bot lane?
Yeah, so I figured we were talking in chat. I think we figured that he either backed or he was in his topside jungle, and so we wanted to invade because we knew Ziggs was low and Vlad was kind of... I mean, they were even in mid lane, but we wanted to invade. We knew Renekton was pushing in top, and so I ended up seeing the war go down, and there's a Mumu.
Yep, and there is the first blood. Just the coordinated gank that came in there as lots of coordination from all three players, top, mid, and jungle there. Really got your team ahead with the first blood, with the jungle evade, and you killed not only the mid laner but also was able to take out the Tryndamere. Do you think the ward placement was really good to make sure that they didn't back? They just kind of got greedy in that back, and you're able to capitalize on it?
Right. Yeah. So this is kind of the point where we had a win condition, and it was for the lanes to basically wait on the Rengar and to play around the jungle influence that we could have, because we knew that anywhere 2-0 Rengar went, there's going to be havoc, and so that was kind of like immediately our win condition after that play.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely set. I mean, all wave lanes got ahead. In particular, the mid lane was able to sustain because of the 2 assists, because Vladimir was down 15 CS after that play even still. So getting that Null Magic Mantle, or turning that Null Magic Mantle into the Spectral Callus, just really helps sustain in lane against the Ziggs, who can push in really hard.
Yeah, and it was also nice because all the waves were pushed when we made that invade. So every one of their top and mid both lost one.
Mm-hmm. Since you've capitalized a lot kind of in this top half of the map, did you communicate that with your bottom duos down there and just let them know that, like, hey, we may be focusing on the top half? Or was there maybe an active goal to try and get this bottom half fed as well?
Yeah, originally we wanted to kill the Tryndamere pre-6. I mean, that's kind of always been our strategy going into him, because we know if he has a regular game, then it's not going to be too long before he's that toxic Tryndamere that everyone hates playing against.
Yeah.
So me and Kyle, usually like to focus top. really wasn't able to do that game, but I think I wanted to make a play bot lane with ult after being topside and mid.
Yeah, you did. As you see, we see you doing a gank here in the bottom half, trying to help push them in. Push them back anyway. They actually had relatively good ward vision of you coming in both times that you've shown up down here, and probably hasn't allowed the best capitalization on the 2 times you have been bot already. But that's a better job of them making sure that they kept the lane warded down in the bot lane, as we see Tryndamere have to use his ult and Q to survive Renekton all in, but Renekton has down to less than a quarter of his health left, so kind of a interesting trade up in top lane. This Lucian has built up a little bit of a CS lead against an Ezreal who's now going into tier. Did you guys plan on trying to keep a longer laning phase because of the Ezreal? As we see Ziggs ult just missed the Renekton up in top lane.
Right. So yeah, the bot lane gank was more just to put pressure back into a lane where Ezreal ran out of mana, and so yeah, we basically had Ezreal with no mana for quite some time down there and just trying to survive. I think that's why he fell behind a little bit on CS, and he still ended up having to take a bad back there, but it was a lot better than what it would have been without.
Yep, and the Renekton really pushed up there into the Tryndamere and pushed him back to tower, which caused the pressure of jungle and mid to roam up there. And we saw the Ziggs ult get thrown up to Renekton, and Renekton was able to dodge, just like barely walk out of it, so he didn't get hit by it. And that's when you used your first ult. Talk about how that you had yet another combo of the 3 top half members of the map all colliding. This time, instead of by red buff, it was in front of the Baron Pit.
Yeah, once Ziggs ult was down, we knew that we could win a 3v3, and so we looked for it, and it was in the river. So I ulted and called to the rest of my team, we should engage that fight.
Now, was this just an instantaneous type of reaction then to the Ziggs ult, or was it something?
I think we had a ward in the river, and I think for some reason, who was it that started that? I think Tryndamere was in the river to begin with.
No, Tryndamere, Ziggs, and Amumu were walking up up the river, and there was a ward in the river bush in the middle of the river that saw Ziggs, but the Ziggs ult as well. So.
Yeah.
And were you guys aware? It looks like Mumu is now going for his 3rd or 4th gank onto the Vladimir here in mid lane. Vladimir's done some excellent pools to get out of the ganks, and a flash to get out of the Ziggs ult there. Is this something that you guys keyed in on, or was there an aspect that was really, I guess, shown?
Our mid laner communicated a little bit about, every time Mumu was mid, he communicated that, and I think we were fine with it just because he was able to dodge a lot of the stuns with his pool, and I think he kills him here under tower, just that last toxic buy Q and powered Q, but yeah, he was totally fine with that pressure because he was under tower anyway, so they were kind of pushing for something that really wasn't there, especially against a Vladimir.
Now the focus has been a lot on the top half of the map so far, especially from the jungler's perspective, because that's where all the kills have been, and trying to get that Vladimir get that Tryndamere behind early, and then keep Vlad even with the Ziggs. Ezreal is kind of caught up, but is now back out of mana again in the spot lane, and the Zyra was able to pick up a kill on the Lulu. So bot lane's kind of in favor of the Pentatilters here at the moment, and it looks like at this point you may be trying to set up for another lane gank with your ult. Now that's reached another level, and they did place a pink ward in the bush, but you just run right past it, all the plants. So that kind of an interesting. You really want to set up down there. Is this something where like, okay, my other lanes are in really good spots and we just maybe need to force something in bot lane, or are you just coming down here for protection because Ezreal needs the back again?
Yeah, I think we were thinking that a Mumu might be bot right here, and I'm not sure why we thought that, because he obviously wasn't. But yeah, I was trying to just kind of be here. He looks like he's out of mana. They were kind of communicating to me that they were. I mean, basically, the goal bot lane was just to farm and not look for a kill against the Zyra Lucian. So yeah, I think I was just down there to just help with the pressure and make sure that nothing too bad went down. Because if I felt like if a Mumu comes top lane, our Renekton is definitely not going to die. Mike can get a kill or two, but he's definitely not. He's not gonna die to the Tryndamere, who only has about a quarter. Vlad was doing fine. He was good on his own. So we were just kind of looking to help bot lane and see if we can get a tower, maybe get a pick. Just being present down there.
Now, so far, your team's been relatively focused on keeping good lane control and making sure kind of what's going on. We haven't seen much deep vision other than one time you went in for the red buff, and there's only 2 pink wards out on the map, one for each team. The Renekton at this point, we're 13-20 is getting a deep ward on the red buff. That's the first actual deep ward you guys have done. At the same time, it looks like you had put a vision on the blue buff. And did you coordinate setting up a couple of pinks and getting wards on the buffs all at the same time, or is this something that just sort of naturally happened?
I think this naturally happened just because Renekton's presence in top lane naturally just went to ward the jungle. And we definitely like to maintain vision on the jungler, and at least know about where he's at, just so we can kind of respond to pressure.
And after you got that deep vision, you picked up Scuttle, and it was easy for you just to turn your ult on and go straight onto the the Zyra with the Lulu, because there was no AD carry there. As we see yet another gank in mid lane onto this Vladimir. I think he's eaten about almost half a dozen ganks and has lived through all of them, which has been very impressive by Alienator in this game.
Yeah, that was really impressive. I remember watching the replay and looking at this and being really impressed by how he managed not only to not die, but put down some serious damage and made both of them probably back.
Yeah, both of them back here. And Renekton finally got the better of the Tryndamere up in top lane in a trade. I think just getting those extra little bit of level, that extra level that he was able to get because of the Tryndamere's deaths and items because of the kills, just really allowed him to capitalize in lane and finally get that kill. And this is a pretty nice rotation that your team does from getting that kill in bot lane, taking that bottom tower, placing wards on the blue side, and then coming over as a 4-man group and taking that second tier 1 tower in mid lane as Renekton finished up the top tier 1. So your team went probably in a giant gold swing here as you all back. Your team is now up 6k gold, pretty much, as everyone starts to back before they buy their items. You were, as the jungler, the furthest ahead, being a part of 6 of the kills as your team, and with 30 more farmed than the Amumu. You're looking pretty good as a Rengar, but because you all backed at the same time, you gave up the dragon control. Was giving up dragon something you guys were conscious of, and was it just hey, we have so much gold, we just have to give it up?
Well, we made the call to go mid instead of dragon. And I think that was worth, because we basically realized that all 3 of their towers were going to go down at the same time. And yeah, we had a lot of gold, so I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, our team doesn't really prioritize dragons. Maybe like the LCS or maybe other teams, it seems like we like to get towers. We like to put vision down and go for picks, and maybe that's just kind of been our playstyle so far. As we get more organized and play more together, I'm sure that our dragon taking will increase. But I think the decision there was just go for mid tower and then everybody back.
Well, I think the decision is correct. After the bottom tier and the mid tier, and Renekton was able to finish off the top tier, I think giving up that dragon was probably the correct play. It was only an air drake. It wasn't a fire or a mountain, where it would have allowed the Pentatilters to get something that they really want. If they would have got a mountain, which is dragon number 2, a mountain's really strong on someone like Ziggs, who once he does get to towers, he can shred through them super fast, and giving him a mountain is just another tool through that. So as you guys came back out onto the map here with your items, it looks like your team is going to set up for a 1-3-1 and put the Vladimir down in bot lane. And as a result, looks like you guys probably catch out the Amumu here as he's trying to take the Scuttle Crab. He may be able to get out, but your team doesn't have a ton of hard CC. Is this something that you guys knew about when you picked this team comp, knowing that like there's only the Renekton stun and then the occasional Rengar Bolo?
Yeah, I mean, we thought we had like a kind of an engage comp with the Renekton and the Rengar jumping in with the Lulu knockup, and you know we went for the Vlad as kind of like our off tank, and so yeah, we realized we didn't have CC other than like the Lulu knockup and the Renekton. It was just a comp that, you know, this was our first game together, and you know, we figured we'd run it. Most of these champions are like our primary champions, and so I think the Vladimir was in response to the Ziggs, and I've been playing a lot of Rengar lately, and Kyle likes to play Renekton into Tryndamere. So mostly we didn't really build the comp. It was more just situational to each lane.
No, that's definitely where you look at it. Now, once you've set up for the 1-3-1, was there any particular decision making on which champions went where on the map? As we see, was this just based off the teleports, and Renekton has teleports, so he's going to go top, and Vladimir has teleports, so Vladimir goes bottom, or was there something specific you guys were looking for?
Yeah, we like the Ezreal because he's got really safe wave clear in the mid game. And so we like to keep Ezreal mid, and me as an Ezreal player, I like to stay mid and wave clear. Like that's kind of been my style on Ezreal. So we wanted Ezreal just to stay mid, and then we knew we had 2 TPs, and so as you saw, we were trying to roam in the river there, and I think we're going to roam again and try to get a pick. So it's kind of like we're trying to roam around. Renekton wanted to stay top against the Tryndamere, and that's just kind of what he wanted to do the rest of the game. So he felt like he had a big lead, and he was happy with that lead.
Yeah, the Vladimir at just before 950 there does dive into the Lucian and goes to ham for his death against the Lucian and the Amumu there. As you're setting up for the 1-3-1 here, Ziggs is someone who can clear out multiple ways. We saw him use his ult to burn in top wave there to push the Renekton off of the wave. Did you guys have an active plan to going against such a champion that's extremely strong in the counter pushing? The counter siege, I guess?
No, I don't think we really looked at it like that. Or looked at it like that Vlad could scale and be, in our opinion, a better team fight presence than Ziggs could. And that might not even be right, but that's kind of the way we went with it. He wouldn't have to worry about the laning phase, and Vlad could build Spirit Visage first and just be a real. He can dominate the Ziggs wherever he goes in the mid and late game.
And one of the things we've discussed, me and Minor, is the advancement of wards, and you've kind of touched based on it so far as we see Zyra clearing out a ward here for you guys. But you guys have, at least on the bottom half of the map where you have been with the support kind of controlling the vision down here, has been really well, right as, right before Dragon spawns, the second Dragon is... we see both the people with TP on your team are now back in top lane, getting down a couple of kills, whereas as the Pentatilters trying to keep up the vision and they've got a pretty decent defense line of vision, but nothing, nothing spectacular that either team can hold on. You're each progressing slowly. You're progressing slowly into their vision, and their vision is trying to keep up with the vision that you're placing.
Right,
But
yeah,
there's
so the pick on the Zyra just came from basically her breadcrumbing to our ward, like through our wards. She saw one ward, then saw another ward, and then there was a Rengar. So
yeah. And you were able to pick up after all that the Mountain Drake, so you were able to keep that away from the enemy team, and really strong, especially because you guys don't have a particularly strong sieging comp, right? As the Zyra is going to get really aggressive here with the Vladimir, against the Vladimir with the Mumu. It's pretty interesting. So you guys turn it pretty well. Now, just to mention that the other team also has only been playing for a week as well, and looks like the coordination's not 100% there about going in and out on who's going to go in, who's going to go out. Now, this comes from both teams, right? So, looks like it was a 4v3 up top, and they picked up a kill on the Vladimir, but you guys were able to two-man that bottom tier 2 before Lucian shows up here. And then the two of you are just going to dive in onto the Lucian, pick him up, and Towers is going to take you down. Ezreal's too close to the tower. He's going to flash and die as well. Renekton traded another kill up in top lane against the Amumu, and Tryndamere, because his support backed off. Tryndamere going to try and finish off Lulu. There goes down the little purple Yordle. Renekton finishes off Tryndamere. So a lot of traded kills back and forth if you weren't able to follow that, Dexter. Back to the communication. What has been particularly hard since, this is a 5v5 team fight match, and the other team's talking just as much as you guys are?
Right, so one thing that I like about the team that I'm on now, as opposed to other teams, everyone in comm is just really good about talking. It doesn't have to be a call. It's just talking about what they're thinking, keeping the communication going, and so in some of my flex games with other Advantage guys, they're totally different. Each game is totally different in comms. Like, some games people will be really talkative, and other games, it's just, you can hear a pin drop. And so I feel like, as a team, teams that I'm on, I play way better when comms are talkative and people are chatty, and even if it's not even if it's not someone just straight shot calling, I feel like that when comms are active, people tend to play better, maybe a little more relaxed. People can make jokes, when things are quiet, it seems like maybe there's tension. For me, specifically me.
No, that's one of the things is... being part of the community, not only being on the teams here, but the being in the community. You get to be and do the flex queue games with a bunch of different people, and you could see a whole bunch of different styles. And sometimes it's just your styles meshing. In this game, it looks you guys have a pretty strong hold, almost 10k gold up, 18-6 in kills, 5-0 in towers. I mean, 1-1 in dragons. But your guys' communications, you seem to be at least moving together in groups of 2s and 3s, whereas occasionally the players on Pentatilters are getting, as you said, the Zyra stepped a little bit too far forward, trying to clear vision. The Tryndamere pushed a little too far forward, trying to, clear the wave. The Amumu pushed a little bit too far forward to get another camp, right? And you guys are doing an excellent job of getting those picks because you're in groups of 2 or 3.
So yeah, I mean, you can see top sides heavily awarded, and we knew Vlad was going to be bought, so we just made the call to 4-man, the top side jungle. And once we saw Vladimir, once we saw Tryndamere kind of overextended, we just made the call to play on him.
And that was a sweet jump over the wall by you to get the Ziggs, but it was too little too late because Ziggs did ult in and was able to take out your support, and you had jumped a little too far in that instance, and you've been taken out by the enemy team. So both teams this is week 1. Both teams aren't on full go here, full blast. In a couple of weeks, is there something you're looking to maybe work on as a team in the communication aspect? That like maybe, I mean, knowing people's voices better, or knowing more how each other want to play, or something, just like calls, right? So one of the teams that I had, verbiages is verbiages, right? Everyone when you say something means something else when you use different words or terms, right? Anything specific, or just general stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think like where we want to improve, I've actually been getting some help from some of the higher elo teams and players, and trying to get as many games in with them. This comp was kind of based around just like killing people. Like, we wanted to rack up a bunch of kills, and you can see we've got a huge lead here, and we didn't close the game. It took us, a while to close this game out, and they've got a Trendemir, and that's just going to get harder and harder to play against, especially for Renekton. There comes a point in time where Renekton's not going to have as easy of a time with him. So one thing that we're focused on is just kind of closing out games, and really, looking for how do we close this game out, and that's going to take time and organization. And one thing I was happy about is our rotations and wave clear was pretty good. Now the other team is dead quite a bit, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is build comps that can end games and win games and end games, not comps built for racking up a bunch of kills. That's kind of what we're doing.
In that team fight, you guys barely escaped. Now, you took a 4v5 without your 80 carry there. I know you guys had gotten a pick and were able to jump in on a couple of people and finish them off. But any particular reason? I know Ezreal shot his ult from the bottom half, but why particularly did you like that comp, knowing that you didn't have your 80 carry there?
I think right there we definitely engaged that fight without vision, so it was definitely pretty risky. I don't know. I think we were kind of like on a high at that point, and just doing really well.
You weren't thinking clearly. You just saw Hero and were like, kill them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we were so used to like this 3-man squad just going around and killing things. I think we were just willing to engage anything at that point. And you're gonna see, Renekton dies there, trying to get Baron. But we do secure it, which is nice.
Yep, so they're looking to probably maybe set up for another dragon, hopefully to get them maybe a little bit more movement speed to help you run around. So now that you guys have won a couple of team fights here and you've got the Baron, what's your team's plan with it? Vladimir and Renekton both have teleport. Are you going to go back to that 1-3-1, or are you going to go be having a 1-3-1, but specifically looking for picks like you're going to get right now on the Trendemir?
Yeah, so I think what we wanted to do is just go ahead and get all the waves pushed to tower with Baron, and we knew that it wouldn't take very long to do that, and then we're going to make go back and do a 4-1 and try to siege one of the towers.
And Vladimir got caught out, pushed up too far, as that bottom tower, that tier 2 had already been gone. That was obvious. Is that something that the coordination and just teamwork needs to still be worked on, or is you're just going to jump in here and probably kill this? Yep. What do you know? A Rengar destroys a Zyra. Right. The easy squishy supports there. Now that you've got this switch up, you're just keeping pretty hard in on the push here. So it sounds like your goal is just to try and keep the Trendemir off of trying to split push, and then look at getting picks on the other group of 4 as they try to rotate between the lanes. Does that sound like an overarching goal from the team, or oversimplifying it?
I think that goal was just to have Renekton in the side lane. We knew nobody on their team could deal with him, so we siege with Baron, and I think that was just our plan. I was kind of I was set up to, if somebody came and tried to set up on our flank, I was there to stop that, prevent that.
And just as you say, the flank comes in as the Trinimir comes in. You think he's able to. Nope, there's Ezreal, takes him out. Lulu dies yet again to a Ziggs bomb and an eventual AoE, but Amumu's going to go down from that team fight as you guys just push in really hard here. Ezreal, I think, is the only one left with the Baron buff, so I don't know if you can continuously push, especially into the Ziggs. Did you notice at this point, as I kind of mentioned earlier, that pushing into Ziggs can be extremely hard? And were you just going to go back to the split push, or?
I think we realized that Ziggs was a big problem for us to siege this mid tower because the way that there was insane. I don't think we realized that at the beginning of the game, or didn't really think about it too well because our comp, like you said, was not meant to siege. It wasn't very good at sieging because we're all mostly melee.
Yeah, you're all relatively low range, even if you aren't. And there you go a little bit too deep trying to get a pick right as your Baron dies off. Was that something you were trying to force because your Baron was dying, or was it just something that you thought you'd exploded the Zyra like 4 times in a row? You thought you could just do it another time?
Well, I think we were kind of frustrated, and the call that I made is that the only way we're going to be able to get a tower is to dive a tower, and then after we kill them, that's when we can take the tower down. I think I just made a pretty bad play there.
Now, you had so much success with the 1-3-1 and getting picks in the jungle. Is it just because once you get to the inhibitor towers and 1-3-1ing, it's easier for them to rotate, especially with the 2 air drakes where they can run faster between lanes, and then Ziggs is so good at stalling, right, being an anti-siege mage, that you guys tried to try something new. That you said that frustration.
I'm not really sure what the call was after that. I think can we see the Baron timer?
I have 1 minute 55 seconds till it's up.
Yeah. So I think we made the decision just to kind of keep the wave shoved, look for another pick somewhere in the jungle. I think Lulu's going to ward. Yeah, she's going to ward bot side. We saw the Trinimir bottom. I'm rotating bottom. I think that we thought, okay, so the next Baron is something that we need to take.
And Trinimir had picked up another tower, and because 3 of you rotated down there, that left 4 people on their team to siege into this mid lane here. Did you start seeing maybe a collapse of control after Trinimir was able to escape and they were able to take 2 towers? Now it looks like you as 5 were able to get a decent engage back off and pick off. I think you're going to be able to get the Amumu here right before a Baron spawns, a minute beforehand, but it doesn't look like you're going to get much anything else. Oh my gosh, Vlad's going for a risky teleport to the red buff. I don't know exactly where he's going, maybe to get onto Trinimir. Rengar, you used your ult to run it down mid as the 3 of them ran off together down the middle lane as Trinimir and Vladimir are now fighting in the top wave. Your ult is still running, and your now vision is the rest of your team has shown up to help try and take out Trinimir, who's popped his ult, and he's going to risk it and try and get onto the Vladimir. Not enough, spinning to winning, and he's going to go down 25 seconds before Baron respawns. You should have pretty much control over this section right now.
Yeah, I think I netted him right there before he killed our Vlad too. And so that was definitely a risky play for the Vlad to go there. We were rotating, but that was a close one. So we're going to set up a play here.
And as it looks like they were going to try and come and get some vision in before Baron spawned, and you and Ezreal, Lulu were able to jump in, take out the the AP carries or the Zyra there super fast. Lucian got too close. Ezreal at this point has been able to just free farm from the back and just land as much poke and skill shots down as he wants, and he was able to finish off the Lucian, and all 3 of you finished off the Ziggs. And with those 3 champions down, it should be relatively easier for you to push in, because you don't have that Ziggs to defend that tower anymore, and you'll be able to get this mid inhibitor for that. Yeah,
so once we got the kills, it became a lot easier. And I'm actually learning something from this replay because I think that our biggest problem in this game was the Ziggs wave clear and our inability to siege towers effectively. So this game could have went totally different if we didn't have such an early.
Yeah, if the Rengar hadn't gone off and gotten a lot of picks for his laners, especially the top laner, as earlier, it would have been much harder to push into the Ziggs than it currently is. And right now it's currently hard for the Ziggs. As you actually see, looks like you guys are going to go for a teleport, Renekton teleport by the bot lane to try and take that tower. Now, Tryndamere here is going to solo the Elder Dragon. Now, what did you think about that? I know you had Baron and you were pushing in into their base, but they just picked up Elder Dragon. You really don't want to fight against that.
Yeah, I think that we wanted to use Baron to siege their 3 inhibitors. I'm not sure if we get the 3rd one here.
Now, did you know Tryndamere was doing the Elder Dragon?
Yeah, we were very surprised by that. Didn't understand how that even happened. Didn't even realize that Tryndamere could do something.
Well, I mean, I was actually impressed by how fast he was able to solo it. I mean, 2 air drakes is not the best thing at trying to take out an Elder Dragon. So now with them having Elder Dragon and you're pushing into them, but they have Elder Dragon, you need minions to fight with you, because in a champion versus champion, the champions with Elder Dragon are going to do more damage because of the burn and stuff. But the minions can help you out counter that, as Zyra's probably going to get caught out here. Ezreal's, burning all of his spells and stuff. And nice. Oh, not enough from. But now Ezreal's probably going to go down. Oh, just able to escape from the Ziggs. Oh, the Ziggs was staying over the wall, throwing out all of the bombs he could. So you were able to get yet another pick on a champion, this time just getting out a little too far and warding yet again. And now you're just going to use your ult to jump to Ziggs. Not much Ziggs can do in that situation, to be honest with you, because of how much range the Rengar can get and who's that fed. Great blasting plant disengaged by the Amumu, I'm going to have to say. You got punked by that one, Dexter.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think we ended up ending the game off of this.
Yeah, I would probably think the game would be here because of the double minion waves pushing in, as Tryndamere is trying to hold off at least one wave when pushing to the bottom, and that's going to be the end of game 1. As we kind of look back on the things that both teams can learn from, is as you ended up with 2. First, Dexter, you bought 2 Black Cleavers. You don't need 2 Black Cleavers, bud.
Everybody's been giving me hell about that.
Okay, just want to make sure. Also, extremely interesting, it is 2017, and I see 3 Boots of Lucidity on your team. What? Like, that's crazy, considering all the different boot styles and times we've been in before. And I understand Renekton wants the Ninja Tabi against Tryndamere, but other than that, it's a lot of AP damage actually coming out from the other team. Any particular reason why I didn't go for the Merc Treads as the primary engager as your team?
I think for me, I just wanted to be like a bruiser Rengar that just could be tough. And I think that's the reason why I built the second Black Cleaver along with the Maw and the Guardian Angel. I was really far ahead, and so I wanted to get as beefy as possible, and I think that's part of the reason I went for the Tabi. Other than that, just it being pretty OP against AD champs. I think I built the Maw for the. I felt like the Maw would be good enough for the Ziggs. Maybe the Merc Treads would have been a better buy.
Well, it just all depends on play style and how the game gets going and what you're looking at. So, one of the things is you kind of touched on, you kind of learned yourself is the impact of vision, right? And how well your vision was compared to how good their vision was. And while both teams had vision, while trying to clear out each other's vision, you were able to catch Zyra a couple times, or the Tryndamere was pushed up a little too far, and you got the picks, which then allowed you to get the towers, because you weren't able to get any of the towers, even with Baron, against the Ziggs comp. So this is, this is something that you said you learned in particular. Now just think about it on the other side of the coin. If you were Pentatilters, what you thought you would have done in that match to maybe swing it slightly more in their favor?
Yeah, I think if I was the other team for win condition, we would have realized how hard it would have been for the other team to siege against us, and we made some dumb plays because of our inability to siege, and they actually ended up capitalizing on some of those mistakes, but basically they were just overextended, and we were really good about this is a tracker's knife Rengar, and so we had a lot of vision, and we made sure that we kept vision, and we set up vision around objectives, and we were looking for picks. That's what we wanted to do, and that's what we did. So if I was them, I would have said, be careful and go in groups to ward and clear vision, and stay grouped.
Mm-hmm. And something that I think this game showed really a good case of an early snowball off of a difference in, maybe I don't say communication, but that early invade. Mumu had came and stole your blue buff. You went to try and get to see where he was at his red, and your communication with your lames being pushed up made it easier for you to collapse in, and you traded kills. Well, you guys got all the kills. I don't think you gave up a death. As a result, from that early lead, and you were able to repeat that again, like 7 minutes later after the buffs came up again, that would really just push the game further in your favor and kept adding on to your win condition of, like you said, getting those picks on their side of the map. So we're going to take a couple-minute break here so we can rest our voices a little bit, and then we'll jump into the game 2 here. So
is that Miner that's back? You see him in chat?
Right? Oh. How did that game 40 minutes long? Ziggs wave clear. Lucian, Ziggs, Wave, and Zyra. Ziggs, Lucian, and Zyra wave clear, able to stall it out, plus the split pushing Tryndamere, drawing the cotton-headed Ninny Muggins. Jeez, your name is way too long. Away from the enemy team. So, and their focus on continuously get the objectives. So, that's just a summarization of that game. So we're going to jump into the break here, and then we'll jump into game 2.
Cool.
You back. You want to try me in the lane? I'll have you seeing stars. I'm dishing out